B Studio. Getting down with motorsports and all things Americana.
Look at us.
This is powered by Done Right TV.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Celebrating the embodiment and enhancing entrepreneurship. This is Mind Your Business. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Kelly Jeffries.
Wow, that's so cool. Man, Tony, my video guy, is just knocking it out of the park. Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday, I believe. And I've got a guest with us, Brandon Ayling. He's a photographer at several different tracks that we go to, right?
Yep. Lafayette County Speedway, Maquoketa Speedway, and I've been subbing for East Moline Speedway.
Okay. Yep. Taking over for Jordana while she's on vacation.
Yep.
Good deal. So number one, I just wanted to thank you for coming in. You know, I mean, we've been trying to do some different things here. I'm still blown away by that video too. That's the first time I've seen it live, but these guys are killing it for me. I appreciate them. So I appreciate you coming in, you know, and I just wanted to, you know, kind of chat with you because we kind of see each other here and there, and we haven't really had a time to sit down and chat. So, what do you do? I mean, you got a full-time job? What do you do? What's your normal job? What's your normal work?
So I work as a cashier / service writer / parts guy at Barco Automotive in Cedarville, Illinois.
Cedarville, Illinois? Where's Cedarville at?
It's up past Freeport. It's if you know where Jeff Bone Larson lives.
Yep.
It's right above there.
Okay, very good. How long you been doing that?
For about 3 years now, a little over 3.
How long you been shooting cars?
Oh, goodness. 10 years.
10 years?
Yep. 2015 I started. Took about a year and a half off, 2 years. So.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Same tracks, or have you been traveling a little bit too, or?
Last year I did a lot more traveling than this year. I've kind of stuck to the more local tracks.
Right.
Travel starts to wear at you a bit, and I do a little bit of work for Dirt on Dirt. So.
Oh, okay.
I travel
cool.
for some of the bigger late model shows.
So like the outlaw shows and stuff like that.
Yep. Lucas Oil,
Good
Outlaws, anything really.
Sure. Awesome. So what, talk to me about the photography, man. I mean, I see there's a lot of people out there. I mean, is there any kind of like grit? I mean, is there any kind of, I mean, you guys like trying to outdo each other? I don't know, man. I mean, cause sometimes you see 10 photographers out there, you know, what do you do to stand out?
For the most part, I mean, you make friends. I mean, it's kind of like with racers, how they connect with each other and get along with each other. And you have certain ones you don't like. You have certain ones you really like, and certain ones you just get along with. And as far as standing out, I mean, we all have different styles. You could have 10 people standing in the same corner and get 10 different complete shots.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's one of the cool things about having multiple photographers is if you have one, there's so much that gets missed and so many different styles that don't get utilized.
Right, for sure. Brian Brunchine, B.A. does badass work. That's a fact. Yeah, and I appreciate you sending me stuff too to put up for like Maquoketa and stuff like that. We're actually going Friday night. We're going to Lafayette too, so.
That's awesome.
I haven't been there in years. I don't even hardly remember the track. And it's a bigger track. Is it? Is it a half mile or is it 3/8?
It's well, it used to be a half mile originally back in the 90s, and then they cut it.
Okay.
And now it's a 3/8. So.
Okay.
But the shape is just so unique, and it's a speed track. So
really?
Like when you go to West Liberty, you expect speed.
Yep.
When you go to Darlington, you expect speed.
Right. Cool. Looking forward to it. Hopefully the R word stays away. We've been getting hit from last couple weekends. Been getting some pretty good rain stuff, but hopefully that stays away. And also letting people get on here. We're going to be giving away we got a couple pictures here. One of them is, they're both Garrett Alberson. And one of them is on a piece of aluminum that you shot. Then where'd you shoot that?
So this was done at Maquoketa during the Nippy 50.
The Nippy 50, that's right.
So it's got a shine
cool.
to it. I think they're cool. And it's signed by him, which is, I mean, that's my favorite part, is the fact that he was willing to do that for me. And
absolutely.
It'd look great on somebody's wall.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's a great shot, man. It's a really good shot. So what's the biggest race you've ever done? Like track, whatever. What's like your...
So I would say my crown jewel race would probably be the Prairie Dirt Classic, Fairbury.
Okay. Yeah.
I try my best to travel down to that track as much as I can. And the first time I was there, I think it was 2016. And then ever since then, I think I've made about 5 or 6 of them. And it's an experience like none other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Fairbury is crazy down there, man. It's a different animal down there for sure. For sure. I'd like to get some of the bigger shows down there, but someday, but the weekly stuff just doesn't, I don't know. It's great, but when you get them super late models on the track, man, I mean, it's just like, especially in the infield.
Oh yeah.
It's just a different ball game. It's just a totally different ball game. So let's see. Maquoketa, you took a couple years off Maquoketa. You're just back this year?
Yep. So I did Maquoketa in 2017.
Okay.
Decided to leave, went to Darlington full time. And then, Jacob was looking to get out this year, and they reached out and asked me, and I originally was going to say no because I didn't want to take on another track. I wanted to travel. And then after talking with Kevin and talking with the Montoyas there, once you hear what they're trying to do to that place and the heart they have for that place, and they don't take a paycheck, and
I know.
Just once you actually sit down and talk with them, I mean, it's hard not to be enthusiastic about that place.
I agree.
It's hard not to want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They're doing everything they can there.
Oh yeah,
no doubt about it.
It's such an experience now, because if you go back to 2017, the track was in such worse shape than it is now. And they've restructured it, and the track prep has been spot on almost every single time. And it's a delight to go there.
Yeah.
So I talked about Fairbury, when you get a weekly track that you're just excited to be at,
right,
that's the place you want to go.
Yeah. No, Maquoketa, they are doing a great job out there. No doubt about it. B.A. taken back to Freeport mid-90s, purple El Camino, and riding in the hobby stocks while packing the track. What a time to be alive. Who's Cody Calum?
So I grew up at Freeport Raceway Park, and one of the things is I was growing up before the age of 1, I was taken to a dirt track. And my favorite car is an El Camino because there was a guy named Danny Loring who used to live down the street from me.
Right.
He had this old El Camino. He just stripped down, painted it purple, and painted a 29 on it, and took it in the hobby stock class at that time. And then, like, the kids' nights and stuff like that they used to have, you used to be able to ride in the back of cars. I actually have a picture of riding on Jamie Pfeiffer, who's now my boss, and a big supporter of mine.
Right.
Which is wonderful to have that, because it makes going racing with work way better.
No doubt.
But being able to ride on his car when I was younger, and riding on the cars, and just it was such an experience.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, racing's been my life.
We got a picture of the El Camino. Did you send me a picture of the El Camino?
Oh, I did not.
No. And then Brett, don't let him lie. Just wanted to work with Brett again. Could you make that bigger, Mike? On that, it's. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Brett,
there you go.
Brett's my buddy. I like to work with him.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Yep.
That's awesome. So, all right, you sent some pictures in. Let's see what you sent in. I looked at a couple of them. I'm going to put them on the screen here. I want to talk about. Okay, we know who that is. Where was that? That's in Maquoketa, right?
Yep. That was Maquoketa this year. It was just one of my more hometown shots, like the local tracks, and I'm a big fan of what TCE does, and with the Dark Side shows, like some of their shows are just
Now, who's in that car? Is that Timmy or is that
No,
Stram?
I can't remember who was in it that night.
They changed a little bit.
Stam was in the blue one, and then I think, oh goodness, who did? Oh, Doom. Doom was in there that night.
In that
yeah.
one? Okay.
Maybe that's why.
Great looking stuff too. You know, every new car, it seems like they're pretty sharp.
They're clean. That's one of my favorite things.
And there's one. Was that Lafayette?
Yep, that was at Darlington during the SLMR show. You know, when the super late models come to town up there, it's a spectacle, and the crowd shows up, and it's just, those are the memories I love to make up there, because you never know when all of a sudden the promoters are going to be like, you know what, no more super late models, and you'll never get to see it again.
Yeah. I've been there. I just can't remember. And when was this? Was that?
So that was at Fairbury last year during the, this year, Fairbury. I went to the Lucas Oil show. That was Ricky Thornton. He had the autism look, and so just a nice clean cut photo. Yeah,
you get great shots, and I'm sure the camera equipment isn't any cheaper than anything else that I'm buying for broadcasting.
Well, I don't know. I got about 10 grand wrapped up in my stuff. I don't know how much you have in yours. It might be more.
Well, yeah, the cameras though, and most of your money's probably it's a lot of money in the lenses, isn't it? That's what I understand. The lenses get pricey.
Oh yeah, and the camera bodies are getting up there. Everything, you know. I think it was Bo Bush that said, you know, back in the 90s, they could buy a whole setup for like $2,500. And now one lens is about $5,000, if not more. The one I want right now is 10 grand by itself.
Wow. For a piece of glass.
Yeah. And you're risking it at the dirt track because wrong rock hits it.
But you're making a ton of money, right? You're selling pictures. You're selling thousands of pictures.
Yeah. The negative $1,000 on my taxes last year was great.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's so what keeps you coming back, man? I mean, you know, you obviously got a great passion for it. You know, just getting that one shot. You're still searching for that one shot.
You know, I growing up as a race fan and then being connected in the pits, you know, my dad was always a big supporter of Kenny Constibator. We sponsored him for years. And when you go down in the infield versus being up in the stands, it's like you have the best seat in the house. Yeah. And then to be able to capture those moments, you know, I've went over to older racers before and I've handed them photos. Mel Abels was an example, and just to watch their face because, you know, something 20 years ago and they don't have that.
Right.
And or you're giving them a memory back, or you're reminding them of something. All of a sudden, you know, something that might be fuzzy is crystal clear, and you watch them and they start talking about it, and then you hear the stories.
Absolutely.
Kind of like the old Keith Simmons stories. But once you start getting around that and you start getting that passion, I mean, the money means nothing.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. I'd spend 50 grand if I could on camera equipment if it captured everything that I wanted to preserve.
Yeah. That's kind of how I am, just running like Top Cam even, you know. It's like you just, you know, you just try to keep, I don't know, man. It's like for me, I want that perfect frame, which I'm never going to get, you know. But it's fun. It's fun capturing them moments and you know, and this stuff will be here forever. You know what I mean? It's like that's the thing. That's what you know, we got 5 years of content now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look back at some of the stuff we did 5 years ago, and I'm like, whoa. I mean, you know, but I don't know. And I like the fact, and you probably like it too, because you said you like to travel. You know, I mean, I like to be able to get out and not being stuck anywhere. You know, so that's a huge benefit for me. Be able to go anywhere in the country, basically, anywhere in the world, for that matter. You know.
And it's kind of cool when people know you a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like you're walking through the pits one day, and a guy who literally flew over here from Australia knows who you are, and you're like, how do you know who I am? I don't know who you are.
Yeah. How'd you get started in it? You just picked up a camera sometime, or?
So growing up, one of my things was my dad and his friends would all hand me dollar bills, and I'd go up to the photo stand at Freeport, and I would stand there for 1, 2, 3 hours just looking at these photos because I thought they were so cool.
Right.
And like when you're a kid, the drivers are more than just drivers, and they don't understand that sometimes, that there's kids in the stands that see them as heroes, and that's exactly what I saw in that. It's like I wasn't. I was too young to understand that getting in these cars, these dangerous machines, you're like, that's so freaking cool.
Right.
And as I grew up and got away from racing for a while and came back, one of the things I always wanted to try was taking a picture of a race car. And obviously, just standing in the pits taking photos is not the same.
Right.
Taking photos with a cell phone is not the same. And I got to borrow a camera one time, and I snuck into the Darlington infield during the fair race, which is actually coming up this week. So it's my anniversary in a way.
Nice.
I went down in the infield, and luckily the guy who lived up the street from me is the one who was in the infield, so he didn't kick me out. And I took a bunch of blurry photos, but I got one that turned out, and it was a picture of Larson and Constanbator side by side with the fair in the background.
Okay.
I didn't send that to you, but it was one I was like, I want that every single time.
Right.
And ever since then, that's my goal. I want those photos.
Do you have a site? What's your site? Where can people find your stuff?
Mostly on Facebook, B.A Photography.
Okay.
I have a Smug Mug account that I share constantly if people want to purchase, but money's not the goal. I'd rather people just see it and just smile and be happy.
Yeah, I get it. Well, here's this next shot. I don't know where this is. That's Garrett, Alberson. Is that this year?
That was at Moline last Sunday
that's
when he did the testing.
practice.
Yep.
How did that go?
It was actually kind of cool to watch a super late model race around on a weekly show, and and then I got the sunset in the background there, and a lot of people don't understand because they're in the grandstands, but if you look right behind you in East Moline, there's a wonderful sky.
Yeah.
And that's what I was capturing, is right beside the grandstand. I was getting that sky in the background.
That's cool. That's very cool. Well, while we're here, we have a trivia question.
Okay.
We're going to give this away tonight.
Yep.
The metal print, and there's a hero card too.
Yep.
And what we need to know is, what was Garrett Alberson's first feature win, and what year was it? We'll leave the car and a few other details out, but feature win and what year.
Yep.
So that's what we need to hear. We need to know his Garrett Alberson's first feature win and what year it was.
Yep.
And I mean, if you know the track too, throw the track in there. I mean, so track. If not, we'll see what we get. We'll see if anybody has any guesses.
Bonus points.
In what series? Great question. First feature win. That's what I got. I got the first feature win. I'm not sure what series, what car. I don't know if he was in a four-cylinder.
First ever
feature win for Garrett Alberson. And what year? And if you know the speedway. If not, we'll not hold you to the speedway. If you do know it, though. Yeah. So there you go. Happy hunting, everybody. So let's go back on us. Okay, there's another shot. I just put that back up there. This is Dubuque, obviously.
Yep, you can always tell by the walls. So
Yep.
It's either going to be West Liberty, Farley, or Dubuque. That was up at an SLMR show, and it's a local series, so I really, as much as I do love like going to see the Lucas Oil Boys and seeing the Woo guys and all that,
the weekly guys,
it's kind of like Justin Kai and all them. Just watching their skill and watching them go around, it's so cool. And the SLMR series, like, it's a super late model series that is for the local drivers.
Yep.
And we need more of that because the locals need to be seen as stars too.
No, I agree 100%. I wish we could figure out. Nope, that's not what I got, Jeff. He said Southern New Mexico Speedway 2002. And hopefully that's the answer that I got when I asked somebody. So maybe we do need a class. I don't know. We'll see. That's not what we got, Jeff. So West Liberty, they're only, what are they running? 1-2 shows a year? Just the fair show, or
just the fair show?
The fair
and I
show?
think Davenport's hosting. Well, the promoters of Davenport are hosting it this year.
Yeah.
And
So you've been around a little bit. What? Let's go ahead and get into, like, what do you see? What do you think? What can we do? I mean, because everybody kind of knows that everything is getting expensive.
Yep.
I mean, you're around with probably, as many tracks as I am. You talk to a certain amount of people.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the fix? I mean, I know there's really not one fix, but it's just because it kind of stinks seeing people not coming to the track and stuff like that anymore. And we all want people to come, and it's. I mean, I think people are attached to their screens so much now. It's if you don't like what you're watching, you just kind of keep scrolling up. But I don't know, man. I mean, what do you think? Where do you think less classes, more cars, more kid stuff? I mean, it seems like people are trying different things, but I'd like to. I don't know. It's something I think about all the time. Like, what can we do that just to kind of bump it the right way, a little bit.
Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody thinks that they're right, and I'm just another one. I'm just another opinion. But as far as what's the fix, I think it all starts with positivity.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things. So a lot of drivers and a lot of their family and so forth don't understand when. I love social media. I've done speeches on social media. I use social media. I think it is the best thing for racing. I will never say it's a negative, but it can be used as a negative. And one of the things I see it used is a lot of people don't understand, like the fans in the stands, they don't like to hear drama. They don't like to hear negativity. They don't like to, they see this track's, this driver's going after this driver, this promoter, they're all talking bad about him. That just loses a fan in the stands. Or another thing is, and I sometimes I really hate photographers that post really dusty photos, because a fan takes that and they're like, I don't want to go to that track.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the biggest fixes is how we treat social media, because it could be the greatest advertising possible.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Or it could be the biggest reason, and somebody who's not as savvy with the behind the scenes stuff at a track, they could not show up because of that.
Yeah.
They see one driver, they see one promoter, even because some promoters go on their little rants.
Oh yeah.
Or just somebody who's being negative on Facebook, and all of a sudden now you don't want to go. To use an example of a positive would be like example the Fall Bash. The Fall Bash is one of the biggest races you could possibly go to in the fall. And the reason why is when you get on Facebook, everybody's excited about it.
Yeah.
They're talking about it. They want to go. Mm-hmm. You don't see any hardly negativity. Whereas when you start seeing negativity, that's where all of a sudden you start, okay, well, why is that track losing 100 fans a week? Well, they all just saw, it's dusty, it sucks, it's, I can't pass on that track, even though the class before me, there was about 20 cars that passed, and just because I suck, I have to complain about the track.
Right. I get it.
I don't know how to do my setup, so let me say, I can't pass because it's a single file track because I can't do my setup, but Jeff Larson just passed me on the high side.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's easy to point fingers or to pick out things that aren't exactly right or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's the same for us. I mean, as soon as stuff happens, dude. I mean, it's, technology. I mean, stuff fails. Just the other night, we just got fired up at Dubuque, and I noticed my camera glitched a little bit. I'm like, so I got up and got a new cable, and by the time I got up and fixed it, we were just in hot laps. We had just started, and I had 2 or 3 messages, and I'm like, I know, man. I'm actually watching the stream. You know what I mean? But you're right, man. And a bad story can travel real fast on Facebook too, and things happen. You know, I mean, there's arguments all the time, I always try to just at least wait a day or two. Just let it go. Because I think that is a big part of it. And because that's all people, if people haven't been to the track, that's all they see is what they see on social media. So And, you know, like I said, I can't imagine what it takes to, especially like in Dubuque, man. Its sun is on half of the track, more than the other half.
Yep.
It's windy. It's hot as hell.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know how to prep a track.
Well, another thing that the negative people don't fully understand is, you know, that little kid who goes to the track who, you know, this is their heart, this is their joy, this is what makes their weekends, and you're killing it.
Right.
It's like going into their house and stealing their favorite stuffed animal or something, and they don't give a crap about the kids. They don't give a crap about the families that love these places. Like I like, for example, Darlington. I love Darlington. So when I hear people, I mean, say anything negative about it, I get very defensive. And the reason why is we all make mistakes. We all,
absolutely,
tracks do that. And I want to see this place prosper. And the reason why is I lose my Friday night home if you kill it. Right. If you talk negative and I lose, or my promoter lose fans in the stands, they don't get their money. I want my promoter, Matt Chris, I want him to be as rich as possible. And the reason why is I want him to invest into the track. I want him to keep it open. I don't care if I put $1 in his pocket. Keep my childhood open. Keep my memories alive. Keep somebody else's childhood alive. Keep families coming to the races.
Yeah, no, I get it. Same when I was a kid. My mom used to take me to racetrack all the time up in Grundy County, up in Morris, Illinois, and it was asphalt. But just like we lost our Saturday night home in 2011. Where's that, Shauna?
Freeport. Freeport's now a cornfield, and the Freeport people understand losing very well because we drive past it every single day. And
well, Bluegrass is another one that a lot of people talk about. I haven't been either one of them, so I've only been in this area around here for I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years. But and that's just harsh reality of it, man. I guess, you know.
But if we supported and backed it and was a little bit more, I get negative too. I don't like dust.
No, I get it.
I don't like you know, overly watered tracks that cause a bunch of cars to get broke because these are my friends. I'm about to hear them bitch and complain. And I have complaints too. Trust me. I walk out, Brett Sievertson hears the negativity out of me more than anybody else. Yeah. But at the end of the day, all you see on Facebook from me is how great tracks are. And the reason why is I want that fan. I want those people. I want to go there.
Right.
I don't care if I had one shitty night. You know, I want as many people to go there as possible.
I know one thing they did when I was a kid going to the races. My mom used to be like, seriously, because I mean I would always want to wait until everything was over because the late models were always last, right? But then I wasn't that good just watching the late models. I had to wait because, and I think I heard somebody say that Toland used to do this at East Moline, that they would have the drivers come around front.
Yeah.
So you know, by the time the race was over, and then you start. Well, everybody's out front. I don't know if they were getting paid out there. I'd imagine they're picking up their checks out there. Mm-hmm. That was my favorite part of the night, man, because I can go out there and all these cars are out there. I mean, they're still ticking. You know what I mean? They're still warm. Yeah. And for a 9-10-year-old kid, I'm like, to be up close to a car like that just blew my mind. And, you know, I don't know, normally 2 a.m. in the morning. What's that? Brett?
Oh, about when I'm complaining then.
Oh,
I got a long drive home.
Well, that makes sense then. Love the car on the screen. Which car, Jen? That 44 or the one we just had up there? I've only got a half a screen up, so you guys aren't seeing the ones we're scrolling. Who's this?
Oh goodness, I should know it. I'm blanking. I don't know why.
What track?
It was last year at Farmer City during the Illinois 100.
Okay.
It was, and I love sunsets. So as you can tell in the back of the grandstands, the sunset's there. Yeah. I was shooting for Dirt
Chris
on Dirt
Madden.
that night, and Chris Madden.
Thank you, Jen.
Can't believe I blanked on that one.
Yeah, it happens. It's the cameras, man.
Yeah,
it's the cameras.
That's that one. The 32.
B.A. was a hot shoe driver and a hobby. Who's that? That's who is that? That's
the Chris Madden.
No, Chris Madden's a 44.
That's Simpson.
That's Simpson. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Chris Simpson, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was at Macokota last year. And
So
that
you used to drive a hobby stock too?
no, the mechanics race at Maquoketa in 17.
Okay.
I jumped in Bobby Taggart's hobby stock, and he let me ride around in the mechanics race.
Yeah.
So I got to shift it. I wasn't
awesome.
fast, but I got to
That's
shift.
awesome. And that is, who's that? That's, God, I can't think
It
of his
really
name.
is the cameras, because I know these now.
I know, dude. Yeah, Chris Simpson is
Hoffman.
the 32. Yeah.
Nick Hoffman.
Nick Hoffman. God.
I'm like, I literally just watched him win. I mean, I know these guys by heart. Come on.
2007, that's not what I got. So the very first feature win for Garrett Alberson in what year? I'll give you the first part, Jeff, because you have the track at New Mexico Speedway, Southern New Mexico Speedway, but that's not the year that I got. Okay, so oh, I got to go back on me. Mechanics races, they do that anymore?
Not really. I
I
mean,
know the
it's-
girls on Wednesday are talking about doing a powder puff race or something. They're
We
a
need
little
more of
excited about
those.
that. We need a, you know, I hate to say it, but 4.6 Fords, man, look like a blast.
Yeah.
They really do. And to get into one for a couple, $3,000,
Yep.
I kind of like that idea. I know Travis is working on that, and a few other people are working on it, but I don't know, man. I think that getting just regular everyday people that can't buy a $80,000 late model,
Yep.
you know, and I can tell you at Dubuque, they look like every guy that wins that race looks like he just won $1 million. You know, I mean, it looks like they're having an absolute blast out there.
And that's what we really need to bring back a little bit to
I agree.
racing is instead of spending, 50 grand on these big expensive cars, maybe we need
And
to
everybody's
get back,
got the same stuff.
get back
you
to the
know?
hometown fun, just going out and having a blast.
Nope. Not 2008. Here, I'll give you a hint. He's in Dave Dietz's number 43. That's all I'm giving you. That's the car. I don't know if it's a late model. I don't know anything about it, but that's the car. It was Dave Dietz owned number 43. So keep guessing. And then I look up there and I lose my train of thought. I don't even know what I was talking about. Yeah, 4.6 Fords, man. I go to Florida every year. And down there, shoot, they had to break it up into like an A and a B class because they get 25 or 30 of them down there every Friday, Saturday night. And, they're bringing friends in. So, I mean, maybe that is the fix. I mean, not that I don't love seeing the supers and the modifieds and everything else like that, but there's too big of a gap, I think. Even 4-cylinders are
Getting too
20
expensive.
grand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've heard people say they got 25, 30 grand in a probably get more than that in it.
It was meant to be a cheap starter class to have some fun that
Right.
anybody feels like they could win, and it turned into let's put thousands of dollars in like anything else and just dominate the class, and then that's really not fun. But
Yeah. Tired of seeing the same peeps win all the time. Well, I don't know where you're seeing that. I mean, there's a few guys that are getting a few wins, I guess. Yeah, there's a few out there doing well, but yeah, it's I don't know, man. I'm thinking about buying a 4.6 Ford myself, but I don't know when I would ever do it because I'm usually behind a camera or behind a computer. But
gotta go have fun every once in a while.
I think it would be a blast. I really do.
Could be a car owner.
Yeah.
That's fun for some of these guys. I
Yeah.
know Lee Kinsella has been enjoying it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I wish that I don't know. It's too bad we can't. Maybe it's been talked about. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass, but it'd be nice if there was more. And I think some guys are doing a lot better job this year. The last 3 or 4 years, it was a little bit weird. But it's like the tracks don't want to. They don't want to talk to. They don't want to help any. And I'm not saying like scheduling on top of. I'm saying why don't. And I've thought this for years, and I've mentioned to a few people. I'm like, why don't like one track, like if there's 3 Friday night tracks, why don't one track take modifieds the first night, and then they'll do $1,000 to win modified special or something, and the other two tracks let the modifieds be off, have a stock car special, and just kind of rotate it, so like no mods running at the second two tracks, they're all coming here because it's more money. And I don't know if something like that would work, but it's just something I've always thought about, is like, why don't they just split it up? And like there's a stock car special here one week, a modified special here, and a sport mod special here, and at least you get one class with 25 or 30 cars than you would think, but maybe, I don't know, man.
I think just the last couple of years, one of the biggest issues I've noticed, and I could be completely wrong, it's just something I've kind of noticed a trend of, is let's say a track cancels, nobody travels anymore.
Yeah.
So, like example, Kokoda will cancel, barely anybody goes to 34 or Indy. It's one of those things, if your track cancels, you stay home or you do something.
Yeah, but you
else.
think if they scheduled it like that, though, you think they would chase the money? Because I know, and there's a lot of people too that we're been talking to too about the track points. Like even Garrett Franzen was in here and said something. I don't know if I'm going to do track, chasing track points next year, because I think you got to have like 11 or 12 shows, and a lot of tracks only have 14 or 15 scheduled.
Yep.
And I mean, shoot, rain happens,
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I just thought that it would be something if there could be a highlight at one of them places, and it just kind of rotates through. But just my 2 cents. Tracks need to work together to help each other, but they don't. Don't matter what class, racing is not cheap. That's a fact. Freeport canceled. My dad would travel to West Liberty or Maquoketa just because he wanted to race. A lot don't want to travel. Well, there's a lot that goes into that too, because it's not just, it's just a different ball game. And then, shoot, there's been a couple times where even just this last week when people, because was it 34? People were coming down to 34 because Indy canceled, and then we ended up getting rain late at 34 too. So, replying to Brian Richine. Brian, he will get there. Brian, kid has a lot of heart. Okay, that's Diane. So I don't know, man. What else you want to talk about? See, we wing it here, man. I'm just starting this thing out, and like I said, I told you earlier, I'm just like, I just want to chop it up, man, and get to know you a little bit, talk about racing, because like I said, we see each other at different places. You said you're one of the, and I'll just go ahead and go there now, because I take photos sometimes. I always try to find the one with the logos on them, because I'm not trying to steal it, but I'm looking for the same thing that you're looking for, is to capture somebody's attention. And I try to tag people in them and stuff like that when I steal them, because I know that probably gets old when you see. So I see a lot of other photographers that see their stuff, but I guess that's maybe different when they're cropping your logo out of the bottom of it or something. So talk to me about that.
So it's kind of like and there's a lot of business owners in racing. I mean, or a lot of farmers and so forth. Imagine if I went to your farm and took your equipment without asking, and I just left with it. I just took it. It's stealing at the end of the day. Or you walk into a business and, everything, you're overpriced. You should be cheaper. You should give away free stuff constantly. It all gets really old, because, sometimes photographers are seen kind of not as a business, more as a hobby. And really, it's a mixture of the two. It's fun, but we need to survive.
And it's not easy to survive with the equipment. No. Yeah, I get it.
Or the cost. I drive an hour and a half minimum for most tracks. That's gas, and luckily I got a fuel saving car, but it still adds up to be about $30 each trip, and then you include food, ice, and I think I did the calculations. To break even on a night of racing, I need to make about $125, and to sell, let's go back to a couple years ago, 8x10s are at $10 a piece. You buy them for about $3-4 a piece, so let's just say you make about $5 something after tax, and you got to file taxes on this too. So you're at $5. Well, if I make $5 each 8x10, how much is that going to take to for $125.
Yeah.
And most photographers are lucky to sell 2, 3 photos. So we're obviously not making it back.
Yeah.
And then to have somebody online who's just like, you know what, screw their logo, just going to crop that out. I don't care about it. Or let's go ahead and print that on, I'm going to go get tumblers made and not ask.
Use that.
Yeah. Or, you know what, I need to make sponsor photos. So let's crop that logo out. I'm going to make my own sponsor photos.
Right.
And that'd be like me walking into your business. You know what, I need some housework. I'm just going to go ahead and take that lumber over there. You don't need that sign. I'm going to take that sign, or I'm going to walk into their house and just, take food off their table.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I have bills to pay. I have things to, and if I can somewhat catch back up, it really helps out.
No, I get it.
And
for sure.
Just, it comes down to respect. And I'm a guy of respect.
Right.
So for me to have somebody disrespect me, imagine if I walked up to their car and just punctured one of their, $200 tires.
Right.
How would they feel?
No, I get it. I totally get it. And I feel weird about it sometimes because a lot of times, I'll go to a track or something that I haven't been to, so I'll get on their site, but like I said, I steal them, but I leave the logo on there. I try to give credit where credit's due because I realize, I see it all the time too with my stuff, but I'm like, as long as I'm not cropped out, you know what I mean? But if you're going to start trying to show some video stuff that we're doing that's taking all of our stuff out of it, then I kind of got a problem with it. I mean, I still want the stuff out there, but, Shauna's got a great question. So what advice would you give a youngster starting out wanting to take photos at a racetrack?
1, always ask permission.
There you go.
2, get to know a photographer, ask questions. So when I first started, I walked into a track, didn't know what I was doing, and I very quickly made enemies with a lot of photographers because I stepped on a lot of toes very quickly.
Right.
And so I started shooting from the stands, just, taking camera photos. And when I started going to the specials and so forth, I started asking questions. And all of a sudden, instead of making enemies, I started making friends.
Because everybody wants to help each
Yes.
other out there. I think that's the case. Well, that's great advice. What else?
Essentially go do it. The only way
Just
you're
do
going to
it.
learn is to practice. It's kind of like anything, and you're going to suck. I sucked I still probably suck, but you got to just get better. And the more you ask advice, up till about 4 years ago, I didn't even know or understand the flash I was using. And Mike Roofer, we were at a track, and he was like, what do you have it set at? And I'm like, this. And he's like, why don't you have it set this? And I'm like, because I didn't know you could change this.
Oh God, that's so funny, dude. I've been doing this for 5 years. Mike, our producer here and my partner doing this kind of stuff, but he came out of LA, so he's a camera guy, right? He's been shooting video, and he's showing me stuff on mine. I'm like, oh my God, dude, because it scares me even get into it because you know how deep them things are. I mean, there's menu, and I don't know what any of it means. You know what I mean? So it's just funny because you get into some stuff, and then when something isn't right, especially for me, I'm live, and I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea how to change the settings in this thing, man. It's pretty intriguing seeing somebody that knows what they're doing, and it's not getting any. I got another buddy that just went to it from an R7 to an R5 or something like that, and he said it's just totally different. And I'm like, how can it be totally different? It's the same, but I get it. Yep. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Photoshop. I mean, you look at it's like a totally different language, man. Like what you would like. I don't know. It just
YouTube is your best friend as well.
I know. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
A lot of people don't understand. They see me at the track. They know I'm working. They know I'm editing because obviously they see the final product.
Yeah.
What they don't see is during the off season, the 5-6 hours I'm watching YouTube trying to learn how to do half this stuff or reaching out to photographers. And now it's kind of cool because I'm on the opposite end. Like I got people from Arizona or from Nevada reaching out to me asking questions.
Yeah.
And it's like you just, if you want to learn, you'll learn. If you don't, and that's where like some of the new photographers I start helping or training, one of the first things I'll tell them is, go home and study this. And if they come back and I know they haven't done it, I know they don't actually want to learn. I know they don't actually want to get better. They're just going to do it.
Where would you start them with a camera? Close, Jeff. It's not 12. You're real close, though.
He's trying.
He is trying. He's going to get it. There's another thing, too, that I think I shared with you earlier, but, well, keep guessing. Close. 2012 is not it, but it's very close. So, okay, let's see. Some 16-year-old kid. What are you going to send him out? I mean, he doesn't have a camera, doesn't have anything. Start him with a phone. What do? You send him to Walmart, get a neat Nikon or what do you do?
I mean, a phone is not meant. I mean, a photo from a phone can be.
They're good.
They could be good, yes, but that's not a racing photo. Like, you're not gonna get very good photos of the phone.
Right.
I would honestly, what I started with was a cheap Walmart camera. I went to Walmart, bought a kit lens, everything, and I learned it, and I grew, and then I bought a bigger lens, and then I bought a better camera, and then see. You don't need to start with the best. You just start with something you can learn. And as you slowly develop, like the term depth of field, if you can start to slowly process that and the complexities of it, at that point, you can move up. You can start to buy better. I would never start a new photographer with a good camera. And I've had so many new photographers, I just need to buy a better camera. No, you need to learn your camera.
Yeah. Justin Horton, 2011. You got it. And if you said it earlier, I missed it. We only have about 5 things up there. I didn't see it come through earlier, but you did hit 2011 at Southern New Mexico Speedway in a Dave Dietz, number 43. And you want to know the kicker of that one? He got disqualified because he was too light at the scales. I asked him for it. That's what they gave me, so I appreciate it. Justin, you got it. If you want to message me, I don't know where you live. I don't know if you want me to mail it out to you or if you want to come in and get it. You just message me and we'll make it happen. Thanks for playing. So just buy like I did my first GoPro, get all of it.
Yeah, I would never recommend like I've had a couple new photographers who are like, I just need to go buy a better camera. No.
Yeah.
Learn the camera you have, because if you buy a better one, you're just going to be lost 20 times over because they get worse as you go up. And if you don't understand the cheap one, you're not going to understand the complex one. Yeah. I've handed my camera over to a couple girls and guys like before and just let them test shoot with it. And you can just watch. They're like, how do you, I don't understand how this works. That's why you stick with the simplicity before you move to the complexity.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Anything else? We're coming up on, it's been almost an hour already, believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, it goes, time flies. What else? Anything else you want to get out? Any kind of message? I appreciate that. Hopefully there's some kids out there. How would you suggest I get a couple shooters? Because I'd love to have a couple shooters out there. It's hard to find people that want to work every weekend. I totally get that.
It's hard work.
It is.
And I always warn people, and I preach it too much a little bit sometimes, but if you get in it for the money, you're going to fail. If you get in it because you want to be famous, you're going to fail. Because the moment you think you're somebody, some kid with a cheap camera is going to walk in and the driver's going to say they're just as cool. Yeah. And it's going to break your heart because you're like, I just spent like 20 grand on this equipment to have a blurry photo called better than mine.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you have to love it. You have to have a passion for it. The drivers have to mean something to you. Every time you walk up to one, you have to care about them. You have to, a lot of guys like, oh, you're a fan of this guy. You're a fan of this guy. They don't understand, like, everybody that's either from Darlington or Maquoketa, when I see them go a different track, I'm rooting for them.
Right.
Like for example, when I see Jed Freiberger, our track champion for Darlington last year, I see him go somewhere. I'm like, did he just win? That's cool. I'm like, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of every single driver that walks through one of those gates, because when I take a picture of them, I'm the same kid at the photo stand buying the photos. I'm just awesome. A fan.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And if you're not a fan first, and you're not willing to learn, and you're not willing to grow, and it doesn't mean something to you, don't get in it.
Right.
Because if it don't have any meaning, you're just going to get out of it, or you're going to take some really crappy photos, or the worst, and this is the worst type of photographer, you're going to take advantage of the drivers and try to make a profit off them.
Wow. Yeah. That's deep. That's true, man.
Shit
It
talking
is.
a little bit, but
Well, no, it's true though, man. I mean, yeah, and I don't know. It's a mixed thing for me because I love the racing and I love the guy. And I'm the same way. If I'm going to see one of the guys that I'm shooting every week, if they're going to be somewhere else, I want to see them do good. I wish I could get more involved, because I'm always behind the camera and stuff like that. But I'm getting a crew together, and hopefully, because I'd like to bring some drivers in here. I like what the girls are doing on Wednesday nights to bring in, and not just the wives, not just the drivers, because there's a story there. A lot of these wives, sisters, whatever, even boyfriends, I guess, if it's a female driver, that's a big part of it,
Yep.
Let's see. There was a time when we were sitting in Bones Hauler, Brandon sitting right next to Mike Garland. I have a conversation, and you should have seen Brandon's face when he actually realized he was sitting next to Mike Garland. You would have swore a guy with a cape just walked in.
So growing up, Mike Garland was a superstar at Freeport Raceway.
Yeah.
He won so many races. We always quarter betted on the hill. So what quarter betting is you take a quarter and you go down the line and you pick a driver, and if that driver wins, you get all the quarters.
Right.
And what that does is it teaches a kid to watch and pay attention to drivers and learn about the drivers and so forth. I love it. I still teach people to do that if they're a fan. But Mike,
start that over. Say that again, because that's good.
so we used to quarter bet. My dad and his friends, what they would do is they'd put a quarter on a car. So, like, example, you go to a super late model race, you'd flip and heads, tails, and you'd go down the line and you'd pick first, second, third, whoever got it, and then you'd go down and you pick a car, and the person that picked, let's say Bobby Pierce starts pole, so you pick Bobby Pierce. Well, he can't be chosen anymore. You go down, and as you pick drivers, and so let's say you pick this random, Garrett Alberson, who you don't have a clue who he is, but you picked him, and now you're watching him like a hawk because you're like, I got a quarter on him.
Yeah.
And okay, you're like, he didn't do the greatest. So in the feature now, a feature is $1. So it changes up how much you're spending. So you go from a quarter to $1. And it makes you watch the drivers. It makes you pay attention to their driving styles. That's actually how I became a huge fan of Jeremiah Hurst, and why I think he's one of the best drivers in Iowa.
I agree.
Is because I watched him at Farley because I put a quarter on him. And when you watch that man drive, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's where I became like a fan of Mike Garland and so forth, because I'd put a quarter on him, and you just knew he was going to dominate that day.
I like that, man. How can we do that with the broadcast, Mike? How can we put like a little thing up with that? I mean, it'd be cool to be able to get that interactive. There's a lot to that, but let's see. Nick Jensen, 20 years of dirt track racing. This guy has become one of my best friends in the business and probably the only photographer I trust. Well, that's got to feel good.
I try to make friends.
Yeah.
It's, Nick's one of them. Chad Marquette up in Wisconsin. Mike Davenport. Being surrounded by people that you can walk in, have a fun conversation. You're just shooting and
just having fun, man.
Yeah, you're just having fun.
Showing each other pictures. You guys show each other pictures.
Yeah, we all know we're losing money. But when you can actually just sit down and just enjoy each other's company, you make some wonderful friends in dirt racing. It's kind of like the drivers that hang out with each other. Like photographers, we're not meant to be in there like, oh, you're making more money than me. We're all losing money. It's just who's losing the most.
Right.
So let's just hang out, have some fun, shoot some photos, talk about how cool your style is, my style is, or what you got.
And
what
learn
I got.
something.
Yeah,
learn something off each other, man. Grow together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that makes it all the better for the drivers. It makes it better for the fans. It makes it better for the tracks. And if you're not there for that, then what are you doing?
No, I do that constantly too with the stream. I can't even watch TV normal anymore, dude, because now that I'm producing, you know, whether it's sports or even other stuff. I'm like, what's going on behind the scenes? You know what I mean? How are they doing that? You know, and I was watching the South Dakota tour, the Dakota on IMCA last night, and it's like, and that's mind blowing, man. Because I mean, he's the same platform and stuff as IMCA, but like, and being at Supernats the last 3 or 4 years, being a part of something like that, man, is just like, it's like being a part of a World Series or something to me, because it's like, I don't know where you go up from that. You know, I mean, Supernats is it's the largest racing event in the world as far as, you know, in 8 days there's over 1,000 cars that run through there. That's insane.
Yep.
And to pull it off, I mean, on so many different levels, even scheduling and not even talking about the video, have enough food. Casey's ran out of fuel.
Yep.
You know, they're, you know, so they got cars backed up, and I'm like, but people are like, how do you do that? But I'm like, how do you plan for something like that? You know what I mean? How do you plan for something like that?
That's that positivity, that excitement I was talking about, and we all got excited again about, you know, and the weekly shows, it's just another weekly race.
Yeah.
If we got excited, man, we get to go to another weekly race. At least our track's open.
Right,
we got
dude.
excited about it, and we got others excited about it. It would change everything.
I agree 100%. Did I miss the giveaway? Had to help? Nope. We gave it away. Let's see. Awesome hearing about all my racing. My wife's family and my family grew up in racing. Mike Roos. Brandon, you look funny. Mercedes Sweet.
I would expect that from her.
This is awesome. Let's see. Let's see.
For reference, she'll ask me for help or something with her flash, and then I'll look real funny.
Yeah, that's funny. That's awesome. It's great that you guys support each other, man.
She's become a good friend in racing. I view her actually like a sister, just because like we mess around with each other so much. Like, I'll make a crack at her, she'll make a crack at me, and that's the thing I love about other photographers and friends in racing. Like,
How many pictures do you take a night?
Well, I used to take way too many.
Yeah.
I used to take about 1,000 to 2,000, and I learned very quickly that is not a good quality, it's a good quantity. So now on average, I take anywhere between 400 to 500, maybe a little more. Like a dark side show might get up to 700, 800 because there's too many cars. But like,
so you're getting pretty selective.
yes, and the reason why is because I would rather have 5 good quality shots than 20 mediocre shots,
Right.
with maybe one good one thrown in there that I got lucky with. So I focus more and try to aim for, this is the one I want.
That sweet spot.
Yes, and when you work with professionals, like you were talking about how like watching, you know, going to the Prairie Dirt Classic or shooting with Dirtman Rich, or, you know, Brendan Ballman, or like Josh James. Josh James to me is one of the best photographers in the nation. And standing next to him and watching your shots versus his, and then you see how many they take, and you're like, okay, well, how did you get, you know, 100 good shots, and I took 400 and mine all kind of look mediocre. How do I get the 100 good shots?
Right.
You start
Without
learning.
taking 10,000.
Correct. And you start learning to, okay, well, he's aiming and getting here. He's aiming and getting here. I just learned by watching. I learned by studying. I learned by mimicking. You know, if it wasn't for the photographers that have surrounded me and taught me, and then now I get to teach, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Yeah. You sure do look funny with a flash. That's Mercedes again. Sanders and Smith at East Moline. And Josh James is one of the best from Nick Jensen. Mike Roos said Sanders and Smith at East Moline. You know what that means?
My guess is they're probably older photographers I'm
Yeah.
not too aware of.
Yeah.
I know Chris Damitz did Moline for a while. Nick did Moline for a while. There's been a couple of them there for a while. But
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man. And it's good to hear your story. And now I've confessed. I had to bring you to the podcast to confess that I was stealing. But you send me emails and stuff with them too. But I try to, like I said, I try to at least use them with respect and get your stuff out there. So any last words for anybody? I sent a great logo to your messages. My messages? I don't know if I can pull it up.
Is that
Hold on a
Cody?
second. Yeah, it's Cody.
Oh, goodness.
Uh-oh.
Don't open that one.
Can this be good? Mike, can you get on Facebook?
Oh, I don't want this.
Yes, you do. You really don't want it?
So he decided to, back when he was racing, have a logo made for me. And they took a picture of my face when I have a big old red bushy beard.
Yeah.
And they made a cutout of it.
Let's see this picture. It must be on the done right. Do you see anything on it, Mike?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it? Uh-oh. Drum roll.
I don't want this up there.
I'm getting my beard cut off tomorrow, actually. Drum roll.
I think I got a drum roll.
You think you got a drum? Oh, look at that. We got a drum roll. Look at that shit. These guys amaze me.
High-tech technology.
Yes, post it. That was the best one. That's from your buddy Brett. Big Red Machine. We're working on it, guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And appreciate your support as always. Like I said, we're just getting started with this stuff, so it might be a little rough. Uh-oh, I'm getting one now. Oh, my God. Dude, that's cool. That should be on every car out there.
No. I'm trying to look professional.
There it
here.
is. There it is.
Trying to look professional here.
That's a great little logo, man. What don't you like about that?
If you get rid of the face, yeah.
Ah, you're beautiful.
Kind of got rid of the beard, though, so.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. I don't think that's bad at all.
I guess a lot of people know me by the red hair, so.
Yeah. Need to find his lawnmower parade. What did I just do?
Oh, yeah. Makokuta, Nick Joe's the guy, me and him co-team Makokuta.
Mm-hmm.
He took a photo of me. I was on a lawnmower, the one, I don't know if you ever saw it back in the day, where you'd pull the kids behind it. And we got done with the car show, so I was leading the cars back to the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
So it's just me riding on a lawnmower with, a bunch of dirt cars following behind me.
That's awesome.
I looked like a redneck on another level.
Yeah. You professional G's, I've heard it all now from Noah. Appreciate you doing this. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate the support. Okay. Well, any last words? We'll wrap this thing up. Again, I appreciate you coming in, and I'm sure we'll see you this Saturday. Friday, I mean. Friday.
Definitely.
Friday.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's close her up.